Hi, everyone. I'm Vegas film critic Jeffrey K. Howard, and welcome to the Stream Squad.
And I'm Tony Toscano in Salt Lake City. And Jeff, I understand that the director of Get Out has a brand new film.
That's right, Tony. In theaters from writer-director Jordan Peele comes his latest thriller about caretakers at a California ranch that affects humans and animal behavior.
You know, this whole film is all about as ambitious a cinematic event as I've kind of planned so far in my career. And I tried to write a script that I didn't know how to pull it off, and then assemble a team to help me pull it off. This is one of these days and these weeks where it feels really good to be a director.
What's a bad miracle? They got a word for that.
My films are always personal. Nope stands apart from my other films in that it's a bigger adventure than I've ever tried to tell. From a filmmaking perspective, by far my most ambitious.
Action! Holy shit! What's a bad miracle? They got a word for that.
I purposely wrote something without any regard to how possible it was.
All right, pictures up.
Here we go.
Thankfully, the great Hoyte van Hoytema, one of the best cinematographers and the mastermind behind some of my favorite films and favorite imagery, responded to the script and the challenges.
It was a very exhilarating ride. Always creative, fun, never scared, and always pushing. In the scope of what we could do, this is made for a big screen. We shot on IMAX cameras, and we were not shy of doing very extreme or crazy things with those cameras.
When you're shooting on IMAX, you just know you're doing something cinematically special. The image is so overwhelming, it feels like you're there. I wanted immersion. An awe and a fear and a wonder we all had when we were kids.
Yeah, nah. Run!
First time I heard about it, no, Jordan called me. He's like, yeah, I'm doing a film. He's like, oh yeah, what's it about? No.
This film's about many things, but in its core, this movie is about a brother and sister, OJ and Emerald.
As the only black-owned horse trainers in Hollywood, since the moment pictures could move, we had skin in the game.
OJ is the one that stayed. He runs the ranch. He's just in a place where everything is unraveling. And his sister comes back into his life, and he's remembered like, oh man, you're not doing anything. You're not helping.
We ain't chilling tonight or what? Emerald Haywood doesn't really have a lot going on, doesn't really know everything she's talking about, but she's got charisma, and she really doesn't know where she's going.
We have the great Daniel Kaluuya, my all-time favorite actor. He's somebody that forced me to push to unlock further things in the character. And Keke Palmer, she has this spark. She just crushes.
Run!
It's about their ability to go from not connecting to acknowledging they have always seen each other.
There's just innate love for each other. The brother, sister, being friends, you know what I'm saying, being real. I have rarely seen that.
Let's go, boy!
I'm trying to save you.
My brother is out there.
Should I do it?
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Now, Nope is only playing exclusively in theaters, but you can get the 3D effect by going to Universal Studios Hollywood, where they've added the Nope tour to the Universal Studios backlot. Tony, are we going to go?
We are going to go, and I'm feeling pretty lucky about it as we get into our next film, which stars Simon Pegg. You know Simon Pegg from Star Trek and Shaun of the Dead. Well, he lends his voice to a black cat named Bob, who's pretty lucky.
Always with the obnoxiously long password. Humans cannot be here!
Where's here?
The land of luck.
I'll leave as soon as you give me another lucky penny.
You best start blending in.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to get the call for that. I was really taken with the concept and with the character design, and the whole thing just felt like a really smart kind of combination of real world stakes and fantasy kind of adventure.
Is it truly a different muscle doing voice work than Rick on camera acting?
Yeah, in many ways. I mean, with animation, you're generally in in this case, I was at home at a sort of studio that was sort of put together for me as like a pop-up because of the pandemic. But you're somewhere on your own, working with the director, whether they're in the next room or in this case on the other end of a Zoom call. And you don't have your fellow actors around you, so you have to kind of approach it in a different way, really. You're working specifically with the director, who is forensically kind of getting the right readings from you that he or she needs. This case, Peggy Holmes, who was amazing.
She is an amazing director, and the way that this film, is paced, it is not just for kids. It is an adult comedy as well.
Yeah, very much so. I think the messages of the film are relevant to people of all ages. I mean, the idea of what you put out into the world is, if you put out love and positivity into the world, then that will come back to you. That's essentially saying that's what good luck is the the capacity to love and to embrace friendship and what have you. I mean, those are messages that reach everybody, I think.
What do you think audiences are going to take away from watching Luck?
Well, I hope it'll be the emotional experience that we all sort of intend it to be. It's about a young woman who has lived her life in foster care. It's got quite a serious heart to it, this film, and the messages of it, the themes of it are all very sort of real and grown up, and despite that, it takes place in this fantastically colorful and beautiful world. So it's everything an animation should be.
Now, Luck also stars the voice of Jane Fonda and is streaming exclusively on Apple TV+. Jeff, what's up next?
Well, Tony, coming up after the break on the Stream Squad, we're going to talk to actor Alan Cumming for the new documentary, My Old School. Don't go away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Stream Squad. I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
And I'm film critic Jeffrey K. Howard. Hey, Tony, coming up next, I hear we were talking to Alan Cumming about a really unique documentary.
Yeah, this is a documentary about the true story of a 16-year-old kid named Brendan Lee who enrolled at Bearsden Academy in Glasgow, Scotland. But everything is not what it seems in this very, very interesting documentary.
Tell us what you know of Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee, Brandon Lee, Brandon Lee.
Can we just begin with your name?
You would have known me as Brandon Lee.
I think, Alan, I think this is like a reverse of a voice acting job where you have to, the voice is already provided, but you're putting in the gestures and the movements and the essence of Brandon.
Yes, and I sort of learned a lot about how much someone's voice infuses so much of their energy and their movement and everything else. And I could actually hear on the tape his like little muscles on when he smiled or said something, that kind of, all those things. Like I really got very attuned to those, and I realized how much you understand about someone through their voice, even though you don't see them. So for me, it was such an interesting and bizarre exercise. It really was bizarre. And when we did it, it was also a very fascinating experience because it was right in the height of COVID, and we were in this freezing cold school in Glasgow, and all the windows and doors were open, and Glasgow, it was December. Glasgow in December is not warm, so we're all freezing cold, and having this tape going endlessly with all the lines coming on it. It was a really the whole thing was bizarre, actually, and it is funny to look back on it and think we've made this really amazing film out of an utterly bizarre experience.
Yeah, it is absolutely, and I love the fact, Jonah, that you use multimedia in this. You have animation, you've got all kinds of wonderful, things to keep the viewer just occupied.
Yeah, it all came bit by bit, and weirdly, actually, we filmed Alan's contribution, and that was the second last part of the jigsaw that we did, and the very last part that we did is actually the animation. We had been looking at various ways of illustrating the backstory, and I knew with such a complex and complicated plot, I wanted to find a really simple way to share it with people. We had a storyboarded cut of the film, and actually it was through, I was watching Marvel's WandaVision, and I was totally blown away. Every episode, they perfectly styled a different era of American sitcom history, and I just thought, well, is there a way we can do that in a kind of simple animation form? And I had this brainwave that, of course, Brandon arrived in our class with this monotone North American accent, big curly hair and glasses. He was Daria, and it's the 1990s. What better way to kind of illustrate it than with a nod to this icon of 90s animation, Daria?
Alan, did you know about this about Brandon before you did this documentary?
Yeah, I absolutely did. It was a huge story in Scotland and in the UK in general, actually. Memories come back to you, and this film is an example of both those things, because this character came back to me via Jono making this documentary, and also memory is a big part of the film in the way that it kind of changes, and even a collective group like the classmates in this film can have very, very, very differing memories of something they all experienced together.
My Old School, which is available on all video-on-demand platforms this week, was a huge hit at this year's Sundance Film Festival. Check it out again on all video-on-demand. Jeff, I hear it's time to go to the ballpark.
That's right, Tony. I'm going to take you out to the ball game with the new biopic, The Royal. Now, it's a biopic of Kansas City Royals slugger Willie Mays Atkins, who went from being in the World Series to prison for drug addiction. His comeback story is that only Hollywood could help tell.
As your attorney, I urge you to obey your court order, Willie.
Ooh, look here! Willie Mays Atkins. They say you used to play ball coked up. Crack helps you crack back. Ain't that right, Willie?
I have a job lined up for you. Road repair starts tomorrow.
Ooh. No way, man. I'm a Major League Baseball player.
Well, you ain't no baseball star no more, Willie. You on XCOM. You better wake up.
Story. It has everything that a Hollywood movie would crave. A baseball star, World Series, drugs, prison, downfall, a comeback story, all the right ingredients, and it's a true story. So as an actor, you must have been thrilled when you got attached to this project.
Yeah, unfortunately, Willie Mays Atkins had to live this life for me to be able to portray it, on the big and small screen. So I took, although it was an attractive role to play, there was always a circle of truth around my head that this is really someone's story. This is really, someone that I have a relationship with now, that I was able to talk to and to realize what he went through in his life, to have these extreme circumstances. And there was, like I said, a circle of truth around my head to kind of get it right,
Well, you said this is a story of redemption, and I love how the movie focuses on that. And, we know the bad stuff that happened, but I love about after all that, how he made his comeback. So, talk about a positive story.
Yeah, I think that oftentimes we, with a lot of narratives, especially sports narratives, we spend a lot of time on the come up of the rise to fame and stardom and, and the pinnacle of hitting the home runs in the World Series. We never deal with those more human aspects of a person's fall, and the accountability that it takes to find another home run, to hit to swing, to even have the confidence and courage to swing the bat again after you've fallen so precipitously. Willie Mays Aikens, was sentenced to the largest mandatory minimum drug sentence ever for a professional athlete, 24 years.
Now, Tony, I'm not a sports fan, but this is an incredible story and just an amazing performances. Make sure you check it out. It's the Rocky of baseball. Don't go away. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Stream Squad. I'm film critic Jeffrey Howard, and I'm joined by my colleague, film critic Tony Toscano. Tony, where are we heading next?
We are heading northeast for season 2 of Rutherford Falls.
I really need your help.
Nathan, you had a little bit of a rough patch, but adversity makes us stronger.
No, Reek, is this sweater too sexy?
For what?
What about a vest?
Welcome to the new Minnetonka Cultural Center. This is Nelson, my co-curator. You're touching those with bare hands?
Would you want to be touched with hands covered in gloves?
You don't know what I'm into, man.
Do you enjoy playing the badass?
Yeah, for some reason, I seem to keep getting cast as the villain. I'm okay with it. It's a lot of fun. I think, it's also, she's a villain, but she's also she's a real person, so I get cast as these villains, but I think the job there is to show that these people are actually, layered, and the reason why they're seen as a villain is because they have difference of opinions, basically.
Jenna, I meant that question for you. How has Reagan changed in the first, from the first season to the second season?
She has a little bit more power this season. She's sort of coming into her own and having career success, and she's also experiencing love on a new degree, and she's sort of I would say stepping into her matriarch sort of vibes and power, and it's really fun to see, but it's also it's clumsy, and she faces a lot of new challenges, more money, more problems, so she's definitely experiencing a new outside ire.
Now make sure you binge season 1 of Rutherford Falls before you begin with season 2. They're streaming on Peacock. Jeff, I heard you had a chance to talk with one of today's biggest singers.
I did, Ashanti, and her name is so unique. She wrote a children's book called My Name Is My Story, because every name has a story. The book is based on real life experiences of your own childhood, mostly concerning with your name, how unique it is. Do you have any, stories that you can relate to us?
Absolutely. I just remember being small, and when it was time to sit in the circle and the teacher would call everyone's name, I would get the little giggles, or I would get the stare, or sometimes the teacher would stutter a little bit before she got to my name and just kind of reiterate, well, how do you pronounce, just to be sure. And I just remember feeling well, my name is just so different than everyone else's, you know what I mean? And the concept and the reason that I wanted to do this is because I wanted to instill in kids that have unique names and different names to be proud of that.
And how often in your life has someone asked you, what does your name mean, or the origin of your name? It has to be a lot.
So many. So many people. And I remember being in first grade, my first grade teacher, her name was Mrs. Cutcher. And she's the one that actually told me to do a little research on my name. And I did my research, and obviously along with my mom explaining to me, but my name originates from Ghana, and it means woman of strength. And what's really cool is, how sometimes when you go outside of the country, in foreign countries, women are kind of considered a little bit lower on the totem pole. But in this specific tribe of people, the Ashanti people, the women kind of run things, So when I found that out, I'm like, yes,
Also, I think every person at one point in their life looks up what their name means. You know, mine, Jeffrey, it means of the angels. So I think not only is this going to spark a lot of children to find out, you know, I always went to my mom, I go, why'd you name me Jeffrey? You know, well, your dad wanted Kent and I wanted Jeffrey and I won, you know, so I think it's going to spark a lot of family discussions, you know, also, which is great because I'm really big on family history and genealogy.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that angle and that aspect, and just being able to bring conversation, you know, with the family and your kids. And again, that's such an amazing point that you bring up. It is going to allow kids to kind of be more intrigued, like, well, what does my name mean? And why did you name me that? And where does it come from? And I love that, you know?
My Name is My Story from Ashanti is available online wherever books are sold. And Tony, I was a little nervous doing this interview because I'm a super fan and she might be coming to Las Vegas for a residency.
I would be nervous too. She has just got such a beautiful voice and what a following she has.
Oh, definitely. Well, there's more coming up on Stream Squad, so don't go away. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Stream Squad. Thank you so much for joining us today. Tony, where can they find us?
They can find us online on our YouTube channel. Plus, we are available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And coming up next week, The Rock and Kevin Hart provide their voices to some very special pets. It's the DC League of Super Pets.
Take care. We'll see you all next week.
My dog's the best, but he's not the greatest with other animals.
What is new with you, fellow normal dog?
I bit the FedEx guy the other day.
Who was he working for? General Zod? The Legion of Doom?
FedEx.